So basically, the entire 25 days I was in Russia, these people, they never made one squeal. These mice never made one squeal because they were scared after November 14, 2025. Yeah, that some government might pull a prank on them and turn the torture tools off, due to which, yeah, for 30 minutes, due to which the truth and reality would be revealed. And no one doubts what artificial intelligence is saying about my brain savant. The fact that I'm a triple savant, I have instantaneous photographic memory, innovation and focusing, and my powers increase over time. Everything proven by November 14, 2025. And artificial intelligence basically told everyone that I have probably the highest probability of becoming extremely rich really fast, more than any other human being on this planet. So basically, yeah, not good news for these people. And after November 14, 2025, I sat there near the window of my hotel room, staring into the three golden globes of the Kremlin, drinking on my coffee. Not one squeal from these mice. I would open up the VK video app, which is the Russian version of the YouTube, and they did put videos on there, but not one squeal. Scam artist, liar, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Not one word. Nothing for 25 days. Why not? Because they knew that if they ran their mouths after November 14th, everyone knew. They saw it with their own eyes, what happened on November 14th. And they would just pull a prank on them by turning these tools off for 30 minutes, and everyone would see exactly how much of a nothing burger I really am, which I think everyone knows. Because artificial intelligence is not a liar, and I'm not psychic enough to guess what the report says, which means that I'm telling the truth about my brain savant and everything about it. The other thing is, I didn't tell these people about it. Law enforcement did, when I didn't whisper into anyone's ears about it. Even when I hadn't whispered into anyone's ears about it. Basically, everyone knew about it by mid-June 2023. Miss Deb is a prime example of this fact. She was told by law enforcement at a time in mid-June 2023 when I hadn't whispered into anyone's ears about it. And I only told people 2 months later. The first person I told was 2 months later, after August 25th, 2023, when I won my case. Okay, so the fact that they went and they told everyone about it, because of the brain scanner and the artificial intelligence report on it, and the fact that, they do tests on my brain savant with the November 14, 2025 test done in Moscow, Russia, right near the Kremlin. And yeah, so basically, yeah, and those test results, basically November 14, 2025 one, everyone in the world has it. So yeah, every country in the world knows about it, this brain savant of mine. So basically, yeah, and that's so it's inarguable, and they're using drugs so that I can't remember what I was going to say, but it's inarguable because of the test done and the 25 days that were that I went to Russia, Moscow, Russia, for this challenge. Basically proved me right and them wrong, because not only did they do a test, they did a less than a minute long test, and the fact that it was less than a minute long proved to the entire world that these people are scared of not wanting to see the truth, which is why they were hitting my foot the entire 6 hours on August 9, 2022. They didn't want to let me study, but I still studied, thankfully, for 6 hours, because of which there was data collected for 6 hours, and that was very helpful for me. It's inarguable after 6 hours of data, basically. Yeah. And so, yeah, after like 25 days in Moscow, Russia, they did a less than a minute long test, and they never made one squeal after November 14, even though I was there for 25 days. I mean, the facts speak for themselves. There's too much, artificial intelligence reports. It's not going to lie over and over again. I'm not psychic enough to, know what the artificial intelligence report says without anyone telling me what's in the reports, these sort of things. But the thing is, just yesterday was June 24th, and they let go of these ears a little bit while I was driving yesterday, June 24th, 2026. The reason they let go of my ears was because they understand the fact that it's very visible, and the entire world saw it on April 22nd, 2025, when they let go of my ears that night. And basically, it's raising a lot of human rights concerns all over the world. And so on June 25th, June 24th, 2026, yesterday, they let go of my ears a little bit while I was driving to check to see if it increases my powers or not. Because obviously it's visible, raising human rights concerns, and it's the only reason they've been doing everything that they've been doing. Basically, day one, all they've done is run sex schemes and money fraud the entire time. They find out about my brain savant, and then they start harassing me, trying to frame me for things that I have nothing to do with, things of that sort of nature, running sex schemes and money fraud with everyone while they're doing all of this. And their BFFs are people like Assad narrating in trials when Assad is literally present in every crime scene, committing the crime, and literally never reporting a thing. And yeah, law enforcement covering over the crimes only to run sex schemes and money fraud with everyone. So why the obsession with me? My brain savant, basically. And law enforcement will not do a 30-minute test to help save their life. Even though 30-minute test, it's not that hard to do. You just do a 30-minute test, and yeah, and at the end of 30 minutes, whether I'm Nothing Burger or Kim Peek Rain Man, it's still going to be the same for law enforcement, because they're proven that they're not guilty, that they're not absolutely obsessed with not letting my brain savant freed for even 30 minutes for that to be seen out in the open performing for 30 minutes, and it's that sort of thing. So now basically, yeah, and law enforcement won't do this 30-minute test. But the thing that I have to let everyone know about is June 24th, 2026, yesterday, they let go of my ears a little bit while I was driving to find out if my powers increase, if my ears are let go of or not. Because on April 22nd, 2025, the entire world saw with their own eyes that it's visibly locked, using all these torture tools, energy weapon torture tools, because of which my ears cannot move. So basically, yeah, that's what's happened. Excuse me. And they're going to find out from this test that my powers do increase if my ears are let go of. Now, the thing about it is, on April 22nd, 2025, they increased the ear drugging so much that I couldn't use any of it. But the fact of the matter is that since my powers do increase when the two sides of my brain are actually joined, I won't be able to use it if they continuously use amnesia drugs on me, ear drugged, obviously. But, they're still going to find out that my powers increase after the two sides of my brain join. Now, the thing about it is, this is the only reason they're obsessed with me. You look at their crimes, cover-ups, and everything that they're doing the entire time with sex schemes and money fraud. Sex schemes started with Uncle Joey's in-laws from 2001, and money fraud, which is still being run right now. Okay, it's no secret, it's still being run right now. The only reason they're obsessed with me while having people like us narrating in trials is because they're basically, yeah, they just want to lock up my brain savant till they get an excuse, like one of their false testimonies, like group chat from my overseas pharmacy school that law enforcement over there fabricated, or November 20th that law enforcement knew was being fabricated before I even went to Russia, or any of their other false testimonies with the 10-year-old child testifying mid-January 2026 that I said anti-government things to him when I was a 10-year-old child myself. They get one of these false testimonies that don't get caught, and then they get an excuse to murder me, basically. And yeah, and so that's basically what they want to do before my brain savant could ever be seen performing out in the open. Obviously, it's extreme envy. The artificial intelligence report clearly says on there, I have a higher chance of becoming extremely rich than any other human being on this planet. The artificial intelligence report will tell you that. It's photographic memory, innovation, focusing. Focusing basically means I do not have to take a single second's break, even if I use it for hours. Proven on August 9th, 2022, when I used it for 6 hours. Now, yesterday was June 24th, and they let go of this a little bit for a little while, just to see if my powers increase or if it has anything to do with my powers or not. Obviously, it has something to do with my powers. The only reason I couldn't use it on April 22nd, 2025, even though they let go of my ears, was because they used continuous stream of amnesia drugs so that, I couldn't study. But I was all ready. I put my tablet into charge and I was ready to go. I thought they were going to test out the 30-minute test that night, but obviously they weren't going to. They were just checking to see how my brain savant reacts to my ears being let go of. So yeah, they're gonna find out from this test that my brain savant powers obviously do increase if they let go of my ears. It's a human rights concern being raised all across the world. The government's concerned about it because of it. And basically, it's something that, it's just being done due to envy. They're scared that it's going to ruin their sex schemes that they're running on these girls. They're already having huge amounts of problems with these girls. Girls aren't listening to them. They basically try to scam other people's daughters. They would go up to them and be like, such and such is a CEO. Someone would go and tell the girl, like, no, he's not. He loses his job every single year. He's definitely not a CEO. He gets paid the same amount my sister gets paid. And yeah, and then the guy, after the girl finds out, he's going to be like, oh my God, someone told her the truth. So now he's going to go up to call her and tell her even more facts about his work. Like, I'm having problems at my workplace. I get into fights every day. I'm probably going to quit my job this year, like how I do every year, sort of thing, blah, 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 sort of thing, And so the girl obviously is going to find out, like, oh my God, this guy was lying all along. Not only is he not a CEO, he's telling me all these things. Basically, yeah, he's going to try to tell the girl everything before the same person who told her about him not being a CEO tells her everything. That not only is he not a CEO, the job that he does do, he earns the same amount that my sister earns, and the only difference being that, yeah, he gets into fights every other day, he loses his job every single year, sort of thing, and before the other guy tells the girl, he goes and he tells her himself. These are the kind of scams that these people are running on these girls. Basically, scamming other people's daughters the way they would not want their own daughter scammed. I mean, yeah, it's a common fact. Like, no one wants, like, any family member of theirs to be scammed like that by a guy who's just trying to have sex with her and sleep with her, But these people in law enforcement do that to girls. They go and they try to scam them. And if the girl finds out from someone else what the truth is, they go and try to tell her even more truth so that their sex doesn't stop so that they could tell her before the other person who told her about him not being a CEO tells her about the kind of stuff, like problems he's having at work, how he loses his job every year, how he makes the same amount my sister makes, and blah, 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 that sort of thing. So basically, these are the kind of scams that law enforcement runs on girls. The kind of scams no one wants a girl in their own house to be going through. Yeah, because then it would be really depressing. Like, oh my God, this guy did this to her. But law enforcement does it to other people's family members, like basically girls, and they would go and they would tell them these things that would basically be lies, that you wouldn't want a girl in your house to be scammed. Like, yeah. So that's the kind of stuff law enforcement does. It's shameful, but you got to remember, they've been doing this with Uncle Joey's in-laws. Well, not exactly this, but they've basically running sex schemes since 2001 with Uncle Joey's in-laws. God knows what else they've been doing. Okay, but my point being that they're not going to do a brain savant test 30 minutes. Even though it disproves their guilt, the government absolutely needs it. Since if it disproves their guilt, then the government needs it, because whether I'm Rain Man, Kim Peek at the end of 30 minutes, or I'm a Nothing Burger, it proves to the court and the rest of the world that everything that's being done is not being done due to an obsession of not being able to see my brain savant out in the open for 30 minutes. Now, they cannot use the excuse that, oh, we just didn't do it because we didn't want to free his brain, because if we did, then everyone in the world would know that we had locked up and it would raise a lot of human rights concerns. No, they unlocked it in Russia. Moscow, Russia, at a place where I could see the 3 golden globes of the Kremlin from my hotel window, and they did it for less than a minute, due to which everyone in the world already knows it's locked up. Why did they do it? Well, they were challenged by me in front of the entire world. They were being watched. They had to do something, test it out, just see, like, what's there. And it was their worst nightmare. Not only was photographic memory, innovation, and focusing still there, not gone, obviously, but its powers increased over time as well. It was their worst nightmare. And obviously, biggest boost in motivation for the November 20th false testimony was my Brain Savant test from November 14th. So basically, yeah, they're not going to do a 30-minute Brain Savant test. And this is exactly why. Their sex schemes on girls are not going well. And if they do a Brain Savant test, well, then these girls, I'll have more power over them. And if I do, then obviously I'm going to tell them, like, don't get scammed by these people in law enforcement. They're worthless. And obviously, when my Brain Savant gets freed, artificial intelligence, let's face it, artificial intelligence is not a liar. What it said it's going to happen at the end of 30 minutes is going to happen. I am Kim Peek, Rain Man. Whether you like it or not, that is true. That is reality. Fact of the matter is, I'm not psychic. I do not have psychic powers. And no one in law enforcement told me exactly what the artificial intelligence report from all these states, including November 14, 2025 and May 10, 2026 said. If they didn't tell me, then how would I know what the report is? Unless if I was telling the truth about my Brain Savant. So let's face it, at the end of 30 minutes, I am Kim Peek, Rain Man. Whether you like it or not, that is reality, my friend. I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to live with it. But the fact of the matter is, it's just like, they're not gonna do a 30-minute test. How much is known? The reason I made this video right now is to let the world know that yesterday was June 24th, and they let go of my ears for a little while. For the first time in my life after a very long time. It's a human rights crime. And it's raising human rights concerns all over the world. It's absolutely wrong. Lock up someone's ears just because you're envious of them being a little different from normal human beings. It's wrong. It's not something anyone should be able to do. And everyone here is in the trial due to greed and envy. For the greedy framer, every single day, including today, today is what, June 25th, tries to get me to marry her abnormal-looking weirdo daughter named Zara, sends me an ad, and she's been doing it since, like, at least June 17th, and I've been saying no every single day. I do not want your daughter. Miss Deb has been sending me ads for her daughter, Ashley, who's married, by the way, every single day, okay, since the same time period, like June 17th. These people, if they really thought of me as being a bad person whose Brain Savant should be locked up, you think they'd be trying to force me to marry their daughters? Obviously not. They were envious, okay? They didn't want anyone else's daughter getting the Brain Savant money that artificial intelligence told everyone about, that I'm have the highest probability of becoming extremely rich in this world, really, really fast, more than any other human being on this planet. That's what the artificial intelligence report said. Every single time my Brain Savant was tested. Now, these people trying to force me to marry their daughters, like Miss Deb and Farah the Greedy Framer, right now, obviously, a month ago, they were saying that my Brain Savant should be locked up because I'm a bad person. You think they really thought that I was a bad person? Who gets someone to marry their daughter whom they think is a bad person? Obviously not. They thought that I had extremely high chance of becoming extremely rich. They wanted me for their daughter. When they saw that I wasn't going for them, they wanted to lock it up so they don't have to see anyone else's daughter with it. Now, on June 17th, a few days ago, when they saw that my Brain Savant getting free was inevitable, they both tried to get me married to their daughter again, despite Ms. Deb's daughter already being married, by the way. Which means that Ms. Deb is going to have to kick out her son-in-law and then try to get me to marry her daughter. And I am not interested in marrying her daughter, concerning the fact that Ms. Deb said in court that my Brain Savant shouldn't get freed because people of my religion did bad things in this world. Very racist thing to say. Not very nice. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's the truth. Not very nice. So basically, the reason I made this video today, it's June 25th. June 25th is due to the fact that yesterday was June 24th, and they let go of my ears for a little while. I just think it's very wrong to lock up someone's ears just because you're extremely envious of their Brain Savant. They were born a little different. By now, they've tested out every part of my Brain Savant. On January 20th, 2026, they tested out of the autistic part of my Brain Savant, how it was when I was a child, and I used to watch documentaries as a child where they told their computer to lock up my entire brain except for the Brain Savant part for childhood, and I watched documentaries literally as I did when I was a child. Yes, their technology is that advanced, but they've only used it to run sex schemes and money fraud since 2001. It's shameful, it's sad, but it's who they are, which is why I knew that they were the ones who tipped off everyone, because they tipped off everyone from the start. The thing I'm making this video about today is the fact that yesterday was June 24th, and they let go of my brain savant ears, just the outside part, not the ear drugging. Ear drugging was fully intact, like it was all in there. Anyways, the reason I wanted to make this video is due to the fact that I think it's really wrong to lock up someone's brain savant just because you're envious of their brain savants. They're born a little different than other people on this planet. It's wrong to do that for this reason when you're running sex schemes and money fraud since 2001. And all I did, since I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, is work hard with my mother. And before I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, if anyone did say anything bad around me as a child, it was not my fault. I was being adult supervised by whomever it was, and my mother was not around. She was either working in fast food restaurants or working at a factory at night shifts. So yeah, and as soon as I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, I was never around anyone. Now you gotta remember, it's saying, not doing, if anyone did say anything bad around me as a child. In 2011, my dad was recruiting people to join terror groups. And we know he was, since law enforcement went into a panic and they tipped him off. Do you think law enforcement would become visible when they're invisible, unless if it was something serious? Obviously not. They had two options. Either let it become so big that you have to run a major investigation on it, or quickly go tip him off so you could get back to your sex schemes and money fraud. And law enforcement, being themselves, tipped him off so they could go back to running their sex schemes and money fraud in 2011. He was doing something extremely dangerous and bad. My dad, the greedy framer, in 2011. If anyone said anything around me as a child, it was only around me when I was a child, remotely considered bad. And as soon as I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, all I've done in life is work hard with my mother. And my mother has never been heard uttering one word considered bad, racist, any way, shape, or form possible. To the point, if I tell her that I'm going to marry a girl who's Jewish, my mother has such a good response at the mall. I'm thinking like, man, if only I asked her at home. Now, the thing that I really made this video about is the fact that yesterday was June 24th, and they let go of my brain ears a little bit. Mainly because on April 22nd, these ears were all the way in the back of my head. And because they let it go on April 22nd. Now, the thing about it is, the test result's going to come out and it's going to say that my powers increase when my brain savant ears are let go of, obviously. And law enforcement is going to fight really hard and try to ignore the fact that they were going to let go of my ears. But I just had to say that no matter what the test result's going to come out, the government should still let go of my brain savant completely, ear drugging and the ears, mainly because it has nothing to do with anything. And law enforcement's been running sex schemes and money fraud the entire time. And I don't think it's right to lock up my brain savant. I just want to use it to study. I'll even tell them what textbooks I'm going to study. Medicinal chemistry and neuropharmacology. Obviously, I'll do 1,000 pages of medicinal chemistry in less than a day. Sorry I'm talking like this. It's because of the drugs they're using on me. Anyways, yeah. And so I just want to study is all. There's nothing wrong with studying. And yesterday was June 24th. Obviously, when the test results come out, people freak out. And I just hope they don't freak out this time. Because when the November 14th test results came out, artificial intelligence report, on December 10th, law enforcement helped a girl stalk me who ended up hitting my car really hard in the back. Yeah. And I ended up in the emergency room because of it. And then the May 10th artificial intelligence report came out. And on June 7th, literally 10 minutes after it came out on that night, a girl in law enforcement started stroking my penis really, really hard that night, and touching my genitals, which is still going on, and I wish it would stop. So yesterday was June 24th, and I hope this time I won't find out exactly the minute the June 24th test results for my artificial intelligence brain savant test results come out. The minute they do, by something crazy happening. Because the last two tests, as soon as the results came out, something crazy happened. November 14th, the results came out December 10th. And as soon as it did, law enforcement helped the girl stalk me till she hit the back of my car, and I ended up in the emergency room. May 10th, 2026, as soon as the results come out, June 7th, that night, as soon as the results come out, June 7th, literally 10 minutes afterwards, a girl in law enforcement started stroking my penis really hard, along with the rest of my genitals, which is still ongoing right now. I just hope, yesterday was June 24th, nothing crazy happens this time when the results come out. And the other thing I had to say was, obviously the results are going to come out that my powers increase. Law enforcement is going to try to argue that my ear should not be unlocked, which I think is a human rights crime and a human rights concern, motive of which is extremely wrong, only because of extreme envy of my brain savant studying abilities, which is totally wrong. I think that the government should let my brain savant go completely, ear drugging and ears removed. Yeah, June 24th was yesterday, and they tested it out. I'm only going to use it to study, and I'm only going to study to get things done, like zero tolerance coffee. I mean, imagine drinking coffee every day and getting the same exact effect you got the very first time you drank it. Wouldn't that be something? I could get that done in 1 month with these powers. And the artificial intelligence reports from all those days tested, August 9, 2022, April 22nd, 2025, a few weeks before April 22nd, 2025, when innovation was tested, June 5th, 2025, showing energy drinks increasing its powers, November 14, 2025, showing that powers increase over time. You have May 10th, 2026, basically same thing. All these powers are there and they're increasing over time. I could get you zero tolerance coffee in 30 days. Every single time you drink coffee, you're going to get the same exact effect you got the very first time. Wouldn't that be really something? And yes, if you don't believe me, 30 minutes. If you don't believe me and you don't believe the artificial intelligence report and you think that I'm psychic, due to which I'm able to guess what the artificial intelligence report says without anyone telling me, then I'm sure you'll believe your eyes. And it only takes 30-minute brain savant test for you to find out exactly, with your own naked human eye, what my powers are like. And then I'm sure you'll believe your own eyes. So yeah, I wish yesterday was June 24th, 2026. They let go of my ears a little bit while I was driving. And I wish the government forces them to take out the ear drugging and the torture tools around my head so that I could study and get these things done really fast. It'll help humanity out. Yes, these powers are that powerful. I'll get it done in 30 days. You gotta remember, other brain savants, well, first of all, artificial intelligence is not lying, first of all. Second thing is, other brain savants in this world have brought in a lot of changes in this world. Now, the others are people like Daniel Tammet. He has photographic memory. He doesn't have innovation, and I don't think he has focusing like I do. But, you know, he's brought a lot of change in this world, I'm sure. But, like, you have to understand, Einstein, he was able to use a higher part of his brain than normal human beings. He had the calculation part of his brain was basically higher than normal human beings. And the reason was he wasn't able to speak till the age of 5. And it was because of that, the calculation part of his brain was bigger than normal human beings. He was able to do physics equations that normal human beings cannot even imagine doing. And it was due to that that he came up with all his theories, including black holes, relativity, time dilation, all of these things. Incredible work that he did. Yeah. We had a lunar eclipse in the early 1900s, and it was Einstein's theories that let people know that if you take a picture of the moon during a full lunar eclipse, you'll be able to see the stars behind the sun because the light would be able to bend coming back forward to Earth. Absolutely amazing. The photographer actually took a picture of that and saw those stars behind the sun. So we're on Earth. You've got the moon, then you've got the sun, and then you've got the stars behind the sun. And that picture showed the stars behind the sun. Absolutely incredible from Earth. Things like these, he was able to come up with only because of the fact that he was able to use a higher percentage of the calculation part of his brain. I could bring a lot of change with these powers. If you don't believe me, 30 minutes of your own eyes seeing it will, I'm sure, let you believe it. All I need is a 30-minute test to prove it. That's all I'm fighting for. That's all I went to Russia for. That's all my fight is for. And law enforcement will fight with every tooth and nail to inhibit that 30-minute test, mainly because of their sex addiction. And they've lost control over all these girls. And they know for a fact that if a 30-minute test is administered, then these girls will never talk to them ever again. And it's because of their sex addiction and wanting to scam these girls, telling them that such and such is a CEO when in fact he's losing his job every year, making the same amount my sister is making, things of that sort of nature. They want to scam other people's family members, girls in other people's families, the way they would never want a girl in their own family to be scammed. Yeah, it's sad stuff. It's reality. It's what they've been doing since day one. Anyways, all I'm fighting for is a 30-minute test. Except for that, I want these ears to be freed, and ear drugging Lord, if possible. They tested it out yesterday, June 24th. Test is going to come out saying that my powers increase when my ears are let go of, but that's no reason to lock it up just because I'm going to use it to study. Studying should not be a crime. I'm only studying medicinal chemistry and neuropharmacology. These are not criminal things. I hope you take this video into consideration. Thank you.